Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Jay and welcome to the Shiplife. So, have you ever heard the term jumping the gun? Well, there is a media organization, a news outlet, or a content creator, however you want to look at them, that has done just that. So, right at the beginning of the month on March 1st, they essentially attacked Royal Caribbean and tried to shame them all over social media over a decision that honestly hadn't been made yet because it's been such a short time frame. I'll explain what I'm talking about in details in today's video. We also got to talk about a cruise ship, well, honestly, a cruise line that has sailed their last sailing to nowhere as they are unfortunately going bankrupt and are out of money. And then I want to briefly address the State of the Union address by President Biden. I said address like 2 or 3 times. Anyway, Biden did talk about what was going on with COVID and the pandemic that is potentially ending. He didn't say much. However, I do want to address it because I believe it's important as far as what we may potentially see when it comes to the cruise ship industry as we move forward here in 2022. So let's go ahead and get started. So I'm sure most of you diehard cruisers or those that want to stay in the cruise industry loop are familiar with Cruise Law News. They're a media organization or a content creator. I'm not exactly sure how to categorize them, but essentially they talk about everything that's going on within the cruise ship industry, especially in regards to legal matters. So if, let's say, people are getting paid on cruise ships, if there unfortunately has been some news of somebody passing on a cruise ship, typically they are right on it. Now, I will admit that they are not always accurate. However, you guys know that here on YouTube and here on the Shiplife, I try to look at everything objectively. Now, again, they're not always on it, but usually they have some information that usually proves to be quite useful. However, this type of article that they recently put out is disrespectful, I think, to Royal Caribbean. And like I said at the beginning, I believe they kind of jumped the gun. So basically, we all know the unfortunate, horrific tragedy and war going on between Russia and Ukraine as of late within the past week or so. Basically, we've had a ton of cruise lines like, of course, MSC, the Carnival Corporation, which includes all of their, I believe, 9 brands. And then we also have like NCL. They've also canceled all the sailings that were going to places like the Black Sea, basically all the Baltic cruises, and of course the Russian cruises. However, we had Royal Caribbean, of course their sister company as well, Celebrity Cruises, that had not canceled the Russian cruises, at least up until this point. But basically, guys, you got to understand this has been going on for about a week or so. Let's say a week to be fair. Now, Royal Caribbean, and just like every other cruise line, what people have to understand is that when it comes to canceling itineraries or potentially canceling an entire season, or let's say in this situation, an entire year, well, there's a potential for, and this is something that we've seen, it takes time. There are a lot of logistics involved, a lot of paperwork involved, a lot of details and refunds and future cruise credit, as you all could imagine, or maybe you can't, but just understand it's a lot of work for cruise lines just to go ahead and cancel something. Now, it's taken time because cruise lines, one by one, because they are their own companies, have been making their own rounds of cancellations. Now, at the end of the month, at the end of February, which by the way was the shortest month of the year, as you all know, on February 28th, it ended. Cruise Law News decided yesterday to put out an article pretty much just targeting Royal Caribbean and Celebrity Cruises and saying that they are still planning on sailing over to Russia despite the tragedy going on over there. Now, at first glance, when I saw this article yesterday, I was like, oh, wow, that is interesting. I wonder why Royal Caribbean is doing that. Maybe they, are looking at profits. I doubt it personally, or maybe it's just one of those things where they see that this war or everything that could be going on could be resolved by summertime. There are a lot of different details and things that need to be taken or need to be taken into account when it comes to this particular situation. The Cruise Law News has kind of painted Royal Caribbean as being shameless and all they care about is profits, and they're gaslighting even the crew members by going over to Russia during the summertime and just giving them free Wi-Fi. Because if you guys don't know, most cruise lines, even when I work for NCL, you do have to pay for your own Wi-Fi. However, in this particular situation, you have Royal Caribbean that has said they have about 500 Ukrainian crew members. They've given them free Wi-Fi so they can contact their loved ones. They've given them the opportunity to go home or near home in the event that they want to do so. And they're also trying to do things like whatever Ukrainian crew members or wherever in that area were set to do contracts for Royal Caribbean, they're trying to expedite the process to sign them on and potentially get them out of trouble should they be in a situation where they can't just leave Ukraine. But either way, Royal Caribbean has stepped up to do what they needed to do, as well as other cruise lines. However, you have Cruise Law News. They've been all over Twitter, and you have other people that are talking about Royal Caribbean not canceling the Russian season for cruising or going over to that area. We come to find out today say that they have done just that, and they are looking at other itineraries, which again, like I said, is a process to do. They're now saying for the summertime they have their ships, which I believe was Voyager of the Seas, and then we have the Celebrity Silhouette. Don't quote me on that, but these ships were set to go over to like the Baltic areas in Russia. Instead, they will now be transferring and going over to Germany and Poland, which I think are cool itineraries. Obviously, over in Europe, you guys haven't been. It's a very beautiful place. But I just want to put it out there, guys. I know that personally, a lot of people have said I've kind of jumped the gun when it comes to creating content. However, I believe that this stuff is important to talk about, especially when things are developing as far as, big stories and stuff that could potentially happen down the line. However, I believe it's worth looking at it objectively. You guys know that if I talk about something that's developing, I say either it's allegedly happening, or we do, of course, talk about what the end result could be. Now, I know a lot of people don't like speculation, but I believe these conversations do need to be had, because obviously if something is trending or it's a hot topic or it's something in information that people may want to know about, it is important to talk about it. Why, of course, the stove is hot, I guess you could say. That was a horrible reference, but either way, you get what I'm saying. There is just a way that I believe you should go about it. And guys, I will leave a link to the article below, but like I said, it's just the way that they say everything that they're saying when it comes to Royal Caribbean. Calling them shameful and saying what they're doing is disrespectful, and of course, not caring about the crew, and all that stuff to me is absolutely false. And I'm not just saying it because I'm going on Wonder of the Seas during its inaugural sailing. I want to make that very clear. Either way, guys, check out the article if you can, because don't just take my word for it. Let me know what you think, and of course, share your thoughts in the comments section below. Now, moving on, we do have to talk about Dream Cruises. As most of you know, Dream Cruises' parent company, Genting Cruise Line over in Hong Kong, has been going bankrupt. They did announce this on January 18th, and it's just kind of been a trickle down and very sad event that has been taking place. We all know, of course, the situation going on with Crystal Cruises. They're basically going belly up. They're closing all of their U.S. offices and laying off all of their workers. Nobody knows what's going on with the crew members. We have a lot of people that need refunds, and there's no exception when it comes to Dream Cruises. So basically what's happening is you have their cruise ship, the World Dream, that has been sailing cruises to nowhere out of Singapore. Now, up until this point today on March 2nd, this will be the last sailing. The ship is set to return over to Singapore, and then that's going to be it. This is happening because the company has essentially run out of money, and the liquidators are coming to collect. Basically, they're probably going to either sell off the ship or either trade it or whatever, not trade it, but you know what I mean. They're going to sell the ship probably to another company, as the cruise line rather, is trying to collect as much money as it can to determine exactly how this bankruptcy is going to go, because it could go one or two ways, honestly, at least the two main ways. It's a very complicated process with bankruptcies that's honestly beyond my understanding, but pretty much a company can either go belly up or they could potentially reorganize and come back at a later date. But what's happening right now is honestly very sad when it comes to Dream Cruises. Of course, they have I believe it's the next ship, the Global Dream, which is supposed to be, well, the world's largest cruise ship when it comes to capacity. However, nobody knows what's going on with that. Dream Cruises is trying to find a seller. They're also trying to be able to buy the ship from the shipyard. They're trying to figure out who's going to be able to complete the ship. It's a very drawn out, very, again, unfortunate process of what's going on. Now, another thing that's happening with Dream Cruises is with the customers, the passengers, the guests that are supposed to be sailing on future sailings that were supposed to be taking place this year and beyond on board the World Dream. Well, they now have to file a claim to potentially get their refund. However, nobody exactly knows how it's going to go. You would think things like this would be a very simple process, because the cruises are now essentially canceled for the time being, that the company would just automatically issue the refunds. But no, the passengers have to go out of their way and file a claim, and then there is no, at this point in time, no set amount or set determined date as far as when these people are actually going to get their refunds. Now, I would hate to be in that position. This is why I personally, I often book cruises like a month or so, or a couple months maybe in advance, because when stuff like this happens, it becomes a very bad situation for the people that essentially want their money, because you have people that have spent essentially anywhere from tens of thousands of dollars on this cruise, and now they have to go ahead and fight to try to get their money back in a company that may have already laid off a lot of workers and staff, and trying to get in communication with them as far as when they're going to get their refund back is just going to be a hassle. And it'll get to the point to where they basically have to contact their credit card companies or their banks and file a dispute. It's just a very grueling, very upsetting process. Either way, guys, that's what's going on. And I was going to kind of, just backtrack and let you guys know the situation with Genting. But at this point, you already know. Basically, Genting is going bankrupt, and the companies that they own, of course, like Star Cruises and Crystal Cruises and Dream Cruises, they're all going belly up along with it. And it's very, very disappointing to watch. And I do hope that maybe there is some positive outcome down the road this year in 2020, but I guess we'll see. Now, finally, we do have to talk about the State of the Union address that took place yesterday at March 1st at 9 p.m. It was very interesting. Biden talked about a lot of points that I mentioned that he would talk about. He talked about the war, he talked about the economy, and then on certain points, which wasn't very long whenever he did actually talk about it, he did talk about the pandemic and COVID. Basically, he's going to leave everything up to the CDC. He talked about masking, and if you notice, him along with Kamala Harris and Nancy Pelosi, that was directly behind him, they didn't have masks on, which was kind of an indication that they are following the CDC guidance. If you guys don't know, the CDC came out and basically left the masking guidance kind of relaxed and up to the states determining how they actually want to, move forward when it comes to the pandemic. Now, is the pandemic over? I guess technically no, because Biden announced that he doesn't want to live with the virus, even though, let's be fair, in places like Florida, where I'm from, we've been living with it for some time. There's no masking policies or anything like that. I'm not saying it's right or wrong just for people, and I'm not trying to get political by any means. I just want to put out there that it looks like Biden is basically going to leave it up to the CDC and the states and the local governments to figure out exactly what they're going to do. Now, how does this affect cruising? At this point in time, it probably has little to no effect. If things start happening on either a federal level or there is just kind of like a nationwide or global idea of what people are doing when it comes to COVID, and people decide right then and there, like, again, as a whole, that we're kind of just going to be done with this and somewhat live with the virus and take the mask off and chill a little bit and relax a little bit with the COVID testing. Again, not saying they should or shouldn't, all right? I just think that people are just kind of play it by ear. They're going to listen to the health organizations, the scientists and doctors that are involved with this particular situation and just kind of go from there. Now, I know there's not much to go on, but I just want to kind of point it out because I've been talking about it for the last month. I honestly thought there would have been more talks about what's going on with COVID, more clarity on the pandemic. However, unfortunately, when it came to the State of the Union address, we didn't get really much of it. But anyway, guys, if you did listen to the State of the Union address, please let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Maybe you got something out of it that maybe I just probably didn't hear because I was listening also with a bunch of other commentators and stuff like that. So, of course, let me know your thoughts. Either way, guys, I'm going to wrap this video up. There's so much I have to get done. I still got to go get a COVID test in about an hour. I got to finish packing. I got to go drive to Miami to go pick up my girlfriend, Lauren. And then we got to get ready for the next couple of days to sail on the largest cruise ship in the world, Wonder of the Seas. By the way, I will be doing a live stream tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time just to kind of finalize what videos I'm going to be putting out there. I will be doing a cabin crawl, and I think it looks like a suites crawl only, so I'm going to do my best to try to get some of the more affordable, the cabins that are more so in my price range and probably some of yours out there. However, I will be looking at the expensive cabins that personally I'll probably never be able to afford in my lifetime, but either way, I think it's going to be some cool content. I have other things going on like the health and safety protocols, embarkation day, all that other stuff. So if you're interested and you haven't subscribed yet, guys, my plan is to hit 100,000 subscribers by the end of the cruise on board Wonder of the Seas. Fingers crossed, that is. We'll see. Anyway, guys, I appreciate every single one of you. On your way out, of course, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Share this video, goes a very long way in support of my channel, and just know that I appreciate every single one of you. I'll see you soon. Take it easy.